Welcome to Nerdarchy, foreigners by now, where your mind is the mightiest weapon. I'm Nerdarchist Dave, and with me is this telepathic titan of tabletop,
Nerdarchists Ted. Greetings, adventurers and thought tamers. Tonight, we're peering into the future of D&D with a brand new Psion class from
Unearthed Arcana 2025. We're going to jump right into the class. We're going to read a lot of this to you guys. Some of it we're just going to paraphrase a bit. But Psion, a master of psionic power. Psions weave magic and extraordinary powers through the power of their minds. They develop their minds as fonts of power that manifest spells and grow stronger over the course of their adventuring careers. You can find everything you need to play on these psionic powerhouses in the next few sections. So you guys can just go over to D&D Beyond and download the Unearthed Arcana for free and start playtesting it and use it in your games and see how it goes. With that, we got some core Psion traits to go over.
So the primary ability is intelligence. They're going to get a d6 hit die. Saving throws is going to be intelligence and wisdom. And like almost every class, they're going to get 2 skills. And your choices are Arcana, Insight, Intimidation, Investigation, Medicine, Perception, or Persuasion. They're going to get simple weapons, and they get no armor.
Yeah, so they're very wizard-like, very sorcerer-like in their core traits, which is to be expected because they are full casters, and they're a bit different from Psions of the past. Matter of fact, they have a little sidebar about what is a Psion, and they kind of discuss like some of the ways Psionics has come up in D&D in the past. With that, we're going to jump into their features. Their very first feature is spellcasting. With that, they're going to get cantrips. They start with 2. They suggest minor illusion and telekinetic fling. At levels 10 and 14, you get 2 more cantrips. You're going to get spell slots like all spellcasters get in 5e D&D. You have your prepared spells. You get a certain number of them. It goes up as you level up. And you can only choose to have prepared spells of levels that you can actually cast, which kind of makes sense.
The big thing that the Psion gets that is unlike other things is their psionic spellcasting. When you cast a Psion spell, that spell doesn't require a verbal or material component, even if in the stat block it says it includes V or M in its components. The only exception is if it has an object that is consumed by the casting or has a cost. In those situations, you do need to provide those things. But other than that, if it's a Psion spell, it is a boom. It's essentially your subtle. And that kind of goes into that weird quandary that I think lots of DMs kind of finagle of, okay, well, nobody knows that you're casting the spell until it comes out. But after it comes out, is there a physical manifest? Can it be countered? Can it not be countered? It's always, I've seen so many arguments over this type of thing. So I'm going to throw you under the bus, Dave. What's your thoughts?
Well, it's still, if the spell has somatic components. Now, I didn't go through their full spell list and check what are all the casting components for each spell. But if the spell technically has somatic components, then that would be a Q. But then again, the other problem is that's not what counterspell says, right? Because that's what we're talking about essentially. Counterspell says when a spell is cast, you can use your reaction, right?
It doesn't say when a spell is cast that you can see. It just, it's within this time. So it's like, all right, the spell goes off. It's been cast. Now this happens. So it opens things up to a lot of debate and a lot of interpretation.
I would say DM Fiat, rules as written. I would say go with DM Fiat, but also rules as written is going to be it can be countered. Now, that being said though, like that's a discussion to have with your players and at your table is like, do you want psionics to be countered by counterspell or anything really, a sorcerer using subtle spell, what have you? Because if you don't want it done to you, then you have to deal with the consequences of, well, that can also happen on the other side of the screen. Right. So I think it doesn't matter either way as long as there's consistency and everybody kind of knows up front.
Right.
And like you have a sorcerer in the game who's playing and wants to use subtle spell. Well, this discussion should be had. If you've got psionics in your game, this is a discussion that should be had. So their level 1 feature is Psionic Power. You harbor a wellspring of psionic energy within yourself. This energy is represented by your psionic energy dice. Your psion level determines the die size and the number of psionic energy dice you have, as shown on the energy die and number of dice columns of your psion features table. Your psionic energy dice are used to enhance or fuel certain psion features. You start with 2 such features, telekinetic propel and telepathic connection, each of which is detailed below. Some of your powers expand your psionic energy dice as specified in the power's description. You can't use the power if it requires you to use a die when your psionic energy is expended. You gain one expended psionic energy die when you finish a short rest. You gain all of them when you finish a long rest. Some features that use psionic energy dice require your target to make a saving throw to save DC. The spell save DC from the class of spellcasting. So we have telekinetic propel. As a bonus action, choose one large or smaller creature other than you that you can see within 30 feet of yourself. Then roll one psionic energy die. The target must succeed on a strength saving throw or be pushed or pulled, your choice, up to a number of feet straight away from yourself equal to 5 times the number rolled. The die is expended only if the target fails the saving throw. Now, I will say you can use this on allies because they can always choose to fail if you just want to move your allies around the battlefield. So this gives you battlefield manipulation on your side or the enemy's. You also get telepathic connection. You have telepathy with a range of 5 feet. As a bonus action, you can expend your one psionic energy die and roll it for a number of minutes equal to your psion level. The range of your telepathy increases by a number of feet equal to 10 times the number rolled die. So you basically have these two powers. You can always use them as long as you have your dice. You always have a telepathic connection as long as they're no more than 5 feet away from you. As long as you can look into their eyes lovingly, you can talk to their mind.
So their die starts at a D6 and goes up to a D12. So the variableness of their power is, I think, is interesting and can be challenging. Like, sure, okay, at some point in time, like go up to 10 times the number rolled. Okay, so I could technically get up to 120 feet away, but like I really have to wait until 17th level to have the chance, a 1 in 12 chance of being able to have my telepathy get to that kind of level.
As a message.
Yeah, I feel like that's a little underpowered for the dude who's got 9th level spell slots. I feel like there's other spells that be like, all right, this class feature, I'll just ignore and use a spell like where he's telepathic bond or whatever it's called. I feel like that's going to be the more go-to if you want to be able to use this when you get to those higher levels, because it's like this just it functions better rather than me having to expend a die and then roll to see if it works, and it's only going to last minutes. Okay, so like, all right, I'm 20th level, it's going to last 20 minutes.
Yeah, I mean, fortunately, like I would say in the first tier or two, these abilities aren't bad at all, especially the telekinetic propel. It's a bonus action.
Sure.
It's not spellcasting. And it's not the only thing you get. You also get subtle telekinesis. The mage hand cantrip. You can cast it without somatic components, and you can make Spectre Hand invisible when you cast it. So all in all, at first level, I think the stuff you're getting is decent enough, and you're still a spellcaster.
Right. It's potent. I'm just saying, like, I feel telepathic connection is the equivalent of the Dragonborn's breath weapon. It's interesting at the start of the game, and it eventually falls off to the wayside because it's replaceable by other things that are significantly better.
You're not wrong, Ted. Not wrong. So at level
all right, so level 2, you're going to get Psionic Discipline. You learn further psionic techniques that are fueled by your psionic energy dice. You gain 2 disciplines of your choice that are detailed later on. You can only use 1 discipline each turn and only once per turn unless otherwise noted in the options. And whenever you gain a Psion level, if you want to change them out, you can drop 1 and gain another. And then you gain 2 more options at level 10 and 2 more at level 17.
Yeah, so you get a total of 6 of them. I believe there's like 11 total, right? And we'll get into them later. So you end up with just better than half of them. And some of them are pretty interesting. It gives you some cool things to do with your dice. I kind of wonder if how quickly you're going to go through the dice with this, but then again, you're also still kind of technically a full spellcaster. And this is definitely a different direction for Psions than we've seen in the past. At level 2, you also get Psionic modes. You have honed your Psionic powers to act as both a shield and a weapon in battle. As a bonus action, you can choose one of the following modes, granting certain benefits for 1 minute or until you use feature again. Attack mode, damage from your weapon attacks, Psion spells, and Psion features ignore resistance to psychic damage. In addition, when you roll damage for a spell, you can expend 1 psionic energy die to reroll a number of damage dice up to your intelligence modifier minimum of one, and you must use the new rolls. It's definitely a feature that we've seen before. Defense mode. You have resistance to psychic damage. In addition, when you fail an intelligence, wisdom, or charisma saving throw, you take a reaction to expend one psionic energy die, roll the psionic energy die, and add the number of saving throw, potentially turning a failure into a success. That can be useful if you happen to be in that mode because it takes a bonus action to switch back and forth. You can use this feature twice and you regain all expended uses when you finish rest. So there's things that you're getting from it without expending the die, and you can buff it with.
Right. So the thing that I like about this is you have very offensive and defensive mode, which I feel very much fits with the concept of the core of Psion or Psionicist that I harken back to with second edition, where Psionics was fairly prevalent, even though it was a add-on. I played a lot with Psionics, but one of the things that I really dislike, and they keep throwing it out there, and I'm going to keep saying I dislike it, is in the attack mode of like, oh, you expend a resource to roll dice, and you have to use the new rolls. In my table, if you're expending a resource to re-roll something, you will always get to choose the better of the two. You're not going to take worse by expending a resource. That to me is the stupidest piece of crap rule I've ever heard. And I don't know why they keep throwing that out there.
Don't hold back, Ted. Just tell us how you feel.
It's dumb. Like, you are expending a resource. Like, later on, you're going to see, like, there's times that the Psion has the ability to roll it or expend a die. And if the thing's not successful, they get to keep that resource. So why are you expending a resource and having the potential to have a worse result? That doesn't fit the rest of 5e. I'm sorry. I don't.
That's not entirely true. There's abilities that are very similar to this, and they always make you keep the second roll. It is kind of lame. I agree. And it's a great place for house.
And in my house, that's always the way it's going to be. So that is the bulk of what you're getting out of Psion. Third level, you're going to get access to a subclass, and later on we'll describe the metamorph, the psywarper, the psychokinetic, and the telepath. All four of those are included in the Unearthed Arcana, so look for that. Level 4, you're going to get your ability score improvement or a feat, and of course you get them at the same levels, 4, 8, 12, and 16.
At level 5, you get Psionic Restoration. When you finish a short rest, you can regain expended Psionic energy dice, but no more than number equal to half your number of dice rounded down. Once you use this feature, you can't do so until you finish a rest. So before 5th level, a short rest, you get 1 die back. Now you get half your level rounded down. So at 5th level, you would get back 2, 6, 3, etc.
So half your number of dice. Yeah. So you'd only be able to get at maximum 6 back
when
once you hit level 17, when you max out at 12 dice.
But it was more than you were getting before. So short rest, you get some of it back, which isn't bad.
Yeah. Hey, getting 6 back is better than 1. So level 7, you're going to get your Psionic Surge. When you roll initiative, you can expend 1 of your hit point dice and regain 1 expended use of your Psionic modes. In addition, after you roll 1 or more of your Psionic energy dice, you can expend 1 of your hit point dice and treat any roll of 1, 2, 3 on the Psionic energy die as a 4.
See, now I think you would have been much more happy with that in your Psionic attack mode.
Yes.
Yeah, I think you would have felt way better about that, because that is very much a bump up. And I like now we're using hit point dice, which it only took like 10 years for them to go, oh, here's a cool resource, let's use it. But yeah, it took some time, but we're getting there. That's what the 2024 rules are for, I guess. Level 19, of course, you get your epic boon like everybody else. And then at level 20, Enkindled Life Force. Once per turn, when you expend 1 psionic energy die and roll it for a psion feature or psionic discipline, you can expend 2 of your hit point dice, roll 2 additional psionic energy dice, and add the numbers rolled to total. Now, I like the use of the hit point dice. I like the fact that you're buffing with it. I don't like this is your capstone ability. Like, they could have gotten this at any point before now, and it would have been amazing and cool. And now it's kind of meh for a capstone.
Yeah, I would agree. I don't know what I would put in its place. The psionic energy dice fuel a lot of things. I feel like having some kind of resurgence or something, whereas like you can kind of, I don't know which class gets it or which subclass gets it, but it's, you can always use this feature. You roll like the lowest die. I'd love to see something like that in that place.
Oh yeah, I know exactly what you mean. I think it might be the Soul Knife or I think it's the soul knife, but I could be wrong. I don't know, folks. Let us know in the comments or chat if you remember where it is. But I know the mechanic you're talking about. So that's a wrap for the core class. But now we get into the psionic discipline options that are part of the core class because they're a big part of it, right? Like we said, there's quite a few of them. And this is where you're going to really get to use those psionic dice some more.
Right. So the first one up is biofeedback. When you cast a Psion spell from the Necromancy or Transmutation school, you can expend one of your dice, gain a number of temporary hit points equal to the number rolled, plus your intelligence modifier, minimum 1.
You also are going to get access to destructive thoughts. When you cast a Psion spell from the Conjuration or Evocation school, and a creature you can see succeeds on a saving throw against the spell, you can expend 1 psionic energy die, roll it. The creature takes psychic damage equal to the number rolled plus your intelligence modifier, minimum of 1.
Devilish Tongue. When you take the influence action, you can expend 1 energy, roll it, and add the number rolled to the ability check. Not bad. Given some skill monkey options going on here.
Ego Whip. When a creature provokes an opportunity attack from you by leaving your reach, you can take a reaction to roll 1 psionic energy die and force the creature to make an intelligence saving throw. On a failed save, the target speed is reduced by 10 feet and it subtracts the number rolled from the next damage roll it makes before the end of its turn. The die is expended only if the target fails the save.
Yeah, that's one of the things I was talking about earlier. So, like, okay, you can expend the die, but the creature fails their saving throw. Die's not expended. You get it right back. So, like, this is what I'm talking about.
Oh, you mean the other way
Expanded around. Awareness. When you take the search action, you can expend 1 psionic energy die and add the number rolled to the ability check. Again, more skill monkey options. So you've got a lot of versatility in how you choose to make your psion.
Insinuation. When you cast a psion spell from enchantment or illusion school that forces a creature to make a saving throw, you can expend 2 psionic energy dice and roll 1 psionic energy die. One target of the spell you can see subtracts the number rolled from the saving throw against the spell.
That can be absolutely brutal. I mean, heck, even a D6, like, oh, you got to take 4 off your save. If you're already not good at it, you know, that can be just absolutely brutal. Inherent aim. When you make an attack roll against a creature and miss, you can roll 1 psionic energy die and add the number rolled to the attack, potentially turning the miss into a hit. If this causes the attack to hit, the die is expended. So the wording choice here is weird. It probably should say if the attack still misses, you don't expend the die. But it's the same. It's the same way.
They don't have Crawford anymore to make sure everything's lined up right.
Yeah, that's sad.
Psionic Backlash. Immediately after a creature you can see hits you with an attack roll, you can take a reaction to expend 1 psionic energy die, roll 2, and subtract the number rolled on each die from the total. In addition, you can force the attacker to make a wisdom saving throw. A failed save, the target takes psychic damage equal to the amount rolled, 2 psionic energy dice. This one's kind of nice. It's like Hellish Rebuke, but also it might make you miss.
Right. Psionic Guards. At the start of your turn, you can expend 1 energy die. Until the start of your next turn, you have immunity to the charmed and frightened condition and have advantage on intelligence saving throws. If you are charmed or frightened when you use this discipline, the condition ends on you. When you use Psionic Guard, you can also use a different psionic discipline this turn.
I believe it's the only one that lets you do that too.
I believe so. The thing that I find interesting about this one, and I feel there's going to be a lot of players who, okay, well, I've gotten charmed. Okay, well, I'm going to use this. It's like, well, if you're charmed, you don't always know you're charmed. So, like, why would you be choosing to do this to end the charmed condition? I feel like there's going to be a little bit of munchkin going on with this particular one. I got no problem with the frightened angle, and honestly, I don't use charm enough to have it really impact my game. But I just using my own psychic powers to see that there are going to be those who power game this one.
I mean, I would just assume it's part of the power to know that you're being influenced, and I would just kind of play it that way from both sides of the screen. Swift precognition. You cast a Psion spell from the Abjuration or Divination school with a casting time of an action. You can expend the number of psionic energy dice to change the casting time to a bonus action. For this casting, number of dice equals 1 plus the level, which you can do this all the way up to 9th level. It's going to be expensive, but if you want to cast Wish as a bonus action, I don't know that they get Wish. So you could.
I don't think Wish is on the spell list. Let me quick jump down here. Now, they get weird. They don't get Wish. All right, so moving into their last option here, Tactical Mind. When you take the study action, let me guess, you can expend 1 energy die, roll it, and add the number rolled to your ability check.
Yeah, well, so I mean, when you have all of these, basically it breaks down to like you can go very skill heavy if you want, or you can go very caster heavy if you want, and there's some utility things. So it does give you some ways to customize your core Psion class, which I kind of like. And you get, I guess you probably get enough uses of your energy dice. I mean, you start at 4, end at 12. As eventually you're getting them half back on a short rest. And you're still a full caster with other options. And that's not even getting into what you get from your subclasses as well.
Right.
So I'd say all in all, I have mixed feelings about this version of Psion. And the reasons is one, it's very balanced, right? Which is good, right? Like the problem with Psions in the past has been creating a psionic class that balances against your other classes. And previously, they've always treated the Psion and Psionics different than magic, which I kind of like. I like that it feels like it's not magic, it's something different, something other. But here, it really is just magic, and it's another way. Now, they've done some nice things in order to kind of make it feel a little different with the components, but that only gets weirder when you have something that requires a material component that gets consumed or is costly, right? Because now you need you for everything else you don't need them except for this one couple things.
Right.
There's not going to be that many. So that part's a little bit odd and weird. I'd have to see it at the table, see how it feels and plays out. I don't know that the psionic energy dice give me this huge feel of a different system or a different energy power than your primal, divine, or arcane that we were getting before. But I don't hate it.
Sure. So it's a step in the right direction at minimum. I do feel like this is almost another iteration of the Way of the Four Elements monk that leans very heavily upon these energy dice. So many class features lean on these things. So if you're not getting short rests to get these things back, I feel like you're going to have some issues in being able to use your cool stuff. I don't know until I see it in play, until I have a chance to really extrapolate this, because like, sure, this came out a handful of days ago. I didn't really start reading it until yesterday. So this is a scenario of I haven't really had time to really absorb it and digest it and see how I think it's really going to go. But my gut feeling is for certain play styles, not going to be a problem at all. If you're getting plenty of short rests, this guy's not going to have any issues. But if you're not taking significant short rests, but you're still having lots of combats, I feel like the Psion is going to fall a little short.
Yeah, I mean, the question is, how's it going to stack up towards the Sorcerer and the Wizard? I mean, because like the Sorcerer, you have your sorcery points, and they're kind of on par with your Psionic energy dice. Right. I mean, the difference is you eventually get more sorcery points than you do psionic energy dice, but also a lot of times the costs are different.
Right.
And you're starting with more psionic energy dice. I'm in the same camp. I need to see this at the table, see how it plays out. At a glance, I don't hate it. Guys, let us know down in the comments below what you think if you're going to be playing this in games.
So thanks for letting us into your minds tonight, figuratively, of course. Exploring the Psion classes, spells, and feats with all of you has been an absolute blast.
Be sure to like, subscribe, and psychic link to that bell so you don't miss a single video. Until next time.
And until next time,
stay nerdy.
Stay nerdy.